Good evening and welcome to the community meeting for the Dillon and Blue fires. I am Linda Babcock. I'm a public information officer on the fires for both the Dillon and Blue. Welcome to the meeting, and if you have any questions tonight, please post them in the comments on the Facebook page you are viewing before the question and answer session begins. We will try to address all the questions after the speaker presentations are completed. I have statistics for you tonight for both the Blue and the Dillon fire. So the Blue fire is at 3,543 acres with 13% containment. We have 778 personnel on the fire. For the Dillon fire, we have 11,957 acres, 57% containment, and 1,152 personnel. I'd like to introduce you now to the National Forest representative, Tony Crump, with the Klamath National Forest.
Good evening. My name is Tony Crump, and I'm Agency Administrator Trainee representing the Forest Service. I just want to take a few minutes and welcome you all here tonight. The incident management team continues to ensure that they have the plans and resources in place to protect our critical values in the communities that are affected by the fires. Our objectives continue to remain full suppression of the fires in a safe manner. It's our hope that the communities can return home, members of the communities can return home, and that the threats are alleviated. Thank you to the community members and here where we are in Happy Camp and others, just for the grace and the patience that you've shown our responders and the firefighters here over the last few weeks. And thank you for your participation in these meetings. Your engagement is valued by the Forest Service, and we appreciate you being a part of this. The incident management team and the firefighters, I would like to share our own personal appreciation for their hard work. A lot of great work has been going on the ground. We really hope that we're able to take advantage of the change in weather conditions here this week to really make a difference. And tonight, our goal is to make sure that we share the information that we have with you and that you have an opportunity to get your questions answered. So thank you so much and welcome.
Good evening. My name is James White, and I'm the incident meteorologist currently assigned to both the Dillon and the Blue fires. My job here as the incident meteorologist is to provide very localized fire weather observations and modeling, and to provide that is to ensure both firefighter and public safety, and to help and aid in strategic and tactical planning for the incident. Talking about some of the weather we've been seeing, we have seen a drastic easing in fire weather conditions over the past several days. That's because we've been having an early season rain system that has been gradually building in here. As we have had that rain system build in, we've seen our relative humidities greatly increase, and we've seen our temperatures decline. Today, our humidity barely dropped below 50%. Our temperatures were mostly right around 80%. We have had our first couple rain bands move in here as of early this afternoon. The whole fire area has currently received anywhere between 1/10 and 2/10 of an inch of rain. We have a couple more rain bands that will likely build in through this evening overnight tonight, and then more rain, a little bit of a pause, likely later tonight, early tomorrow morning, and then another round of rain on Tuesday afternoon. In total, we're still on track for a most likely 48-hour rainfall total in there of somewhere between half an inch and an inch. That's a little bit on the lower end of the initial forecast range, but it's still more rain than this area has seen in a widespread manner since at least last spring. So that's really great news when it comes to fire weather conditions. We will see drying conditions start to build in here around Thursday. The high temperatures are going to return to around 90. Your humidity is dropping just below 30%. Some of our normal diurnal winds that have helped drive these fires building back in from the southwest. Overall, though, it's going to be a very short window. There's pretty high model confidence that our marine air and influence is going to return again next weekend. Those conditions are going to be very moderate. Those relative humidities really struggling to get anywhere below 40%. Those temperatures again in the 70s. We might even get another round of wetting rain again next weekend. We'll see. That's really uncertain at this point, but either way, it will be much more moderated conditions. Maybe we'll dry out again after that, get a little bit beyond our ability to forecast, but either way, the conditions we've seen this past week are a far cry from when these fires started just 2 weeks ago. So that is really a stark change in weather that we've seen over the past few weeks, and as we continue into the fall, you'll see more and more of that.
Good evening, Stuart Turner, Fire Behavior. As a fire behavior analyst, what I do for the team is I predict what the fire is going to do, where it's going to go, and how fast it's going to get there. And I'm looking at three things out there. I'm looking at the topography. That's the hills, the mountains, the rivers, the streams. I'm looking at the fuels. The fuels I'm concerned with are the small diameter fuels, less than a quarter-inch in diameter. The pine needles, the leaves, the blades of grass. And I'm looking at the weather. You just heard an update from our meteorologist about the weather, and that's the big question that everybody has. What's that weather going to do to our fire? The rain is soaked up by those fine dead fuels, and they take that up very quickly. It only takes an hour or so, and they get shut down very quickly. Without those fine dead fuels, these large forest fires struggle to move through the landscape. That there's nothing for them to burn. However, the problem is the larger fuels, the logs, the stumps, those catch on fire, and they will hold that fire through these wet periods. So when we get on the other side of the rainfall, then it starts to dry out again. Those logs will set the fine dead fuels back on fire, allowing things to move. So let's look at one of the fires here. So we're going to look at the Dillion fire here. What I think is going to happen, for the most part, we're going to see smoldering fire behavior all around the fire. That's those larger fuels will still continue to burn. They will still consume. Might have an open flame, but probably don't. They're just going to smolder. In the last 24 hours, we saw a little bit of growth coming out of the southwestern portion of the fire, and then over here on the northwestern portion of the fire, very minimal growth yesterday because of the weather. We had the clouds and a little bit of rain and everything. That really kept things down and suppressed. So very little movement. For the next 24 hours, I'm not anticipating any movement out of the Dillion fire, just smoldering fire behavior. It will continue to produce smoke, but no movement. And if we can look at the next fire, please. And on the blue fire, same thing there. We saw very little movement yesterday, a little bit here on the western side where it could find some fuels, and the humidity came down low enough that it started to move a little bit, but not very much. But tomorrow what we're going to see is that smoldering fire behavior all around the fire as those larger fuels continue to burn, continue to smolder, not expecting any perimeter growth here either. And that's what I think is going to happen for the fire behavior on the two fires the next 24 hours. And I'll hang around if you have any questions about that. Thank you.
Good evening, everybody. Josh Eichhammer, Operations Section Chief with California Team 1. We're going to start off on the Dillion fire today. Activities and operations on the Dillion fire starting up in the Dillion spot. On the northeast side here, firefighters continue to mop up, secure fire's edge, and are beginning to prepare for backhaul. Coming down along Highway 96, we continue to look at opportunities to reduce any future risk in the T-bar area, and we are preparing for backhaul and, again, trying to build as much normalcy back into the community as we can in as timely a manner as we can. Get things back to normal there. Coming down the Highway 96 corridor, things are looking real good. We're prepared for structure protection should we need to implement that. We don't anticipate that, as you heard from the IMET and the FBAN in the coming days. Coming around to our primary actions up here in the south, coming out of Rock Creek, crews continue to go direct in there. We have turned the corner and are starting to progress back up the hill on the western flank of Rock Creek. Actions are looking really good, and we anticipate that we'll continue to have success in there, vying rain, making it inaccessible for us to walk in there for a day, maybe due to hazards. The intention moving beyond today and into tomorrow is to continue to go direct up through this belly where the fire hung up in a fire scar and see if we can't close this door all the way up and around the corner towards Coffee Can Creek. Our intention over the next day or two is to continue to evaluate opportunities with the weather, taking advantage of that to go direct down into Dillion Creek, if that's a possibility. So we'll have some crews looking at that tomorrow, and continuing to evaluate indirect opportunities further out around the fire area. Coming around on the north side of the fire, everything is holding well along Dillion Creek. The spot fires to the north of Dillion Creek have not progressed in multiple days. We anticipate the threat of that is going to continue to diminish and be negligible post the rain that we see over the fire in the coming days. We do have resources prepared to implement alternative lines up here towards Pony Peak, should there be a need. And again, we're continuing to scout just a little bit further out up the 96, making sure that we're prepared for any actions we needed to take up there. So that is end of report for the Dillion fire, and we can move over to the blue. So a lot of activity and really good progress on the blue fire over the last couple days. Really moving into today, the emphasis has been to cut out. I'm gonna start, I guess, on the northeast corner. The emphasis has been to cut out where we need to and go direct where we need to hold the line along Walker Creek. So Walker Creek Road, we do have a little belly in here that we don't have fire down to the fire's edge. We'll be looking at whether we can cut that out direct or clean that up a little later once the weather changes. But things are looking really good down Walker Road. Coming to the south of Walker Road, where we come off of the road system there, we have installed line, as you can see, this black line all the way up to the corner of this belly, and crews have been inserted over the last 2 days working on going direct in here, trying to get this line in and secured, and we think we're going to be successful with that. Coming around to the south end of the fire, we have looked off of the south flank going to the west at opportunities to go direct, and we're also looking at opportunities based on terrain and topography and snag density to come down and make sure that we have a bit of what we would call like a catcher's mitt in the Pacific Crest Trail should this fire progress down in the coming days. And again, firefighters are unable to access that ground due to terrain and topography. But we're looking at both options, and we think we have time with the predicted weather. Additionally, firefighters are doing the same thing coming across the head of this fire. They're looking at opportunities to go direct where they can. Where they can't, we've gained some ground, and we've installed a combination of road prep, hand line, and a bit of dozer line coming across that'll help us keep things out of the community. And we think we're going to be successful in holding that line as well. So people will be in there diligently engaged through the rest of the shift today. Moving into tomorrow, again, our effort is to keep the fire spread to the north, parked where it is in its existing footprint, or against our indirect line. And we are looking at opportunities, just like from the south, to come at this from the north end, coming down the west flank where we can, and making preparations in the PCT. So moving beyond the direct actions on the blue fire, we again continue to do work along Slinkard Ridge that's tied into the highway, working all the way back down and starting to work back up towards the wilderness there. We're looking at opportunities to make sure that we have a good system if this fire is to wake up and dry out and start moving again. Same goes for Grider Ridge. We've got that whole area plumbed, ready to go. We think that's defendable. We have a good plan for that, and we're going to be prepared to continue looking further south if we have any issues in here in the general vicinity of the fire. Lastly, and most importantly, we have folks in place for structure protection, and we have a good plan for that should that become a need. Again, we don't anticipate that, but you will see resources spread out through the community and committed to making sure that we're there to protect the values at risk. Those are the end of my report, and I will be around later if you have any questions or concerns. Thanks.
Next, we have Brian Shoshone to give a report on behalf of Siskiyou County Sheriff's Office.
Hi, good evening, everyone. Brian Shinoni, Siskiyou County Office of Emergency Services. Not a lot to report out today. We did lift and adjust some of the zones, as you saw for those in the fire footprint. We're still looking at the 11-17 zone of downgrading that from an order, just waiting on some of this rain and seeing what's going to happen with that. Besides that, the shelters have been closed. There are animal shelters for the dogs are still open, and we're just awaiting pickup on that. Otherwise, I'd just like to say thank you to the team, and Sheriff and Undersheriff both send their apologies for not being here tonight. and I'll be around for questions.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you again for meeting us every night or every other night. We appreciate and we're here for you. Our whole goal is transparency about what's going on the ground and to provide you with these messages in all the ways that you're able to find it. To do that, we've been doing our virtual and in-person meetings. We have installed trap lines in all of your communities. We also have been doing operational videos twice a day. And we have updates as well that is on IncyWeb. So please let us know if you're not receiving those. We also mail those out. So if you want to be included on that, please reach out to any of our information officers. But our goal continues to be getting you the information as timely so that you can make good decisions. So with that, I'm going to pass that back to see if we have any questions.
If you do have any questions, we currently don't have any questions in the chat, so it's wide open. If you have any questions, please post them in the chat, and we will get those answered for you. In the meantime, I'll let you know our next meeting will be a virtual meeting on Wednesday, September 10th at 6 p.m. That will be for both the Dillion and the Blue Fires. For fire information, you can follow the Blue Fire and the Klamath National Forest Facebook pages and the Dillion Fire on the Six Rivers National Forest Facebook page. The Facebook pages are being monitored and we will respond to any questions you have. You can also reach us at these phone numbers listed. The Blue Fire contact information 707-387-4472. Below that is the email. The Dillion Fire contact information 707-387-1574. Below that is the email address for the Dillion Fire. Thank you for attending the event tonight. We do not have any questions, so this will conclude our meeting.